Welcome everyone to another video. In this one I thought I'd go over one of the free programs that I have there on my website. I have a bunch of free programs that I've made over the years. So I went and took one of them, updated it a little bit, added it to our new format that we use for our coached athletes, and then put it back on my website. So I thought I'd make a little video going over it, explaining why certain things are done the way they are. So the link to that will be in the description of the video, but anytime you want to come look at any of them, you can just come over here to powerliftingcoaching.com, and under services go to free stuff. So I got lots of free stuff here as far as those different training blocks I mentioned, and also here collecting a lot of different articles, videos that people have posted up that would be beneficial depending on what you're interested in. But the one we're going to look at today is this one, 6-week beginner volume block. So we hit here, view program, and it's going to send us to a Google Sheet. Like I said, this is the format that we now use with our coach members at the gym and then our online athletes. And so now everything is loaded up. You'll see there's a few tabs here, and what you can do for yourself is you come here and go to file, and you can make a copy. So you can make a copy, and then you can put in your maxes and all your information, everything like that, or you can even download it if you want into an Excel file or another format. But what I would say is, if you want to keep it in Google Sheets, you make a copy, change it to whatever name you want, you put it in whatever folder you want, and then you hit OK, and then you can go and edit that, because this one here off the website is only going to let you view it. So we'll go through each tab here. Start here. Basically just has information about us, coaching, gym, email, social media, and then I'll put the link to this video. So if for some reason you go through the website and get to the program, then you can go watch the video. And then this just explains kind of the tabs. So first tab, athlete profile. You can put in information about yourself, different goals you have. You can put your number one goal over here, and then other goals and notes in this section. And then here you can put in your maxes. This program is built in pounds, and then you can also put the date of your next meet if you want, just to kind of keep track of everything. And then below that here is basically the volume tracker for the 6 weeks. So this kind of gives you an overview of the program. So if we look at the blue, the squats, you can see the number of reps for week 1 is 63, and then it goes up, and then we'll do a little bit of undulation going down, and then back up to a higher number, and then down, and then back up to a higher number. For bench, somewhat similar. You can see it goes up, 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 just because you're going to be able to recover faster from bench press. And then after those 4 weeks of increasing, do a little bit of a lighter week, and then up to a newer high here for week 6. And then the yellow is the deadlift, which is going to have the lowest volume of the 3. And it's going to be similar to the squat, where you're going up, down, and then up for the final week. And then again, just a table here too, in case you want to see it in whichever format. All right, so why I call it a beginner program, kind of just the name that I threw out there, that a lot of people throw out there, but beginner can mean so many things, and even in our sport of powerlifting, it can mean so many things depending on your actual age or your training age or what your genetic potential is, how good your technique is, whether you're gaining weight, losing weight, all those kind of things have effect on it. So some of them you can't change, like your genetic potential, obviously you can't change. If you have a higher potential, then you might be on a beginner stage for a longer period of time. If you have a lower potential, then you're going to quickly go into intermediate and advanced. Other things you can't change is your actual age. If you started later in life and now you're a master's 2 or master's 3, then your beginner phase might be very short, and then you'll have to go more into an intermediate and advanced. Whereas if you're a beginner and you're 14 years old or 16 years old in your actual age, then you're going to be able to progress as a beginner for much longer as you're still developing your body. So those the factors come into play, and also factors that you can control come into play. So for example, you might have a certain recovery rate and a certain ability to progress in weights based on what you do now, but if you improved your sleep schedule, if you improved your nutrition and went into a caloric surplus, if you increased your water intake and these little things, then it might increase your recovery, increase your muscle mass that you're building, and then that will allow you to progress faster and progress longer. So those all come into play, but I just tried to put a name to it, and kind of I'll go through a little bit why it can be a beginner program. From here, one thing you can see is the progression of the volume continuously increasing, especially for bench, and then a small drop and increase. Where someone who's maybe more advanced is going to have to fluctuate a lot more and may put in deload weeks every third week or every fourth week, because they just can't progress that much in the increase in volume week after week, versus a beginner is going to be able to progress further and for a longer period of time. Then as we go now into the training file, you'll see some other differences that you might see from a advanced or intermediate block. So one thing you can see is that we have 6 days. So maybe someone who is an advanced athlete is not going to be able to train 6 days a week because they simply can't recover fast enough for the next session. But as you're a beginner, you're going to be able to go into the gym almost every day, and you're going to be able to recover very quickly and be able to progress very quickly. So here we have day 1, day 3, and day 5 we have squats. Day 2, day 4, and then down here day 6 we have bench press, and then day 1 and then day 5 we have deadlift. So we got 3 times frequency on squat, 3 times frequency on bench, and then 2 times frequency on deadlift. So as a beginner, you're going to be able to handle that. And as you see, it's a lot of the competition lifts. So competition squat and deadlift, here competition bench, here competition squat, here competition bench, here squat and deadlift, and then finally here at competition bench. So another thing for beginners is they want to practice their skill. So here's going to let you practice the competition lifts very often, and these exercises stay the same for all 6 weeks. So for all 6 weeks, you're practicing your competition squat and bench 3 times a week, and then the deadlift 2 times a week. So you can really hone in that skill and develop it throughout these 6 weeks. And then if you continue it with this block or another block, continuing to develop it over the years. There are some variations, but we're not focusing on those. And then the variations are just to get some extra work in for certain muscles that can be beneficial. For example, the closer grip bench, you're going to use a grip that's more narrow than what your competition bench is, and it's going to hit your triceps a little bit more to develop those triceps. And then here you have front squat, develop your quads a little bit more than you would with a low bar competition squat stance. And then you have some general accessory work, again, to develop that muscle mass and build you for the future. So we have pull-ups here, good body weight exercise. We have triceps, again, building up the triceps. A horizontal pull you can do with a machine or dumbbell or barbell, again, and developing that back. Here we have incline bench to develop more of the upper pec. Rear delt work for a couple of days, so day 4 and day 6, to hit the upper back and kind of counter all the pressing work. We have another vertical pull, where if you don't want to do pull-ups, then you could do something like a lat pull down. We have day 2 and day 5 abs, and you can select what you want, but you could pick maybe things like planks or anti-rotation movements to kind of build up that bracing ability that can help you with the squat and the deadlift. So it's just a general program, focusing 1 on skill acquisition of the competition lifts, and 2, general hypertrophy of the muscles that will help for these movements. So the quads, the triceps, upper back work with the rear delts, that kind of stuff. And then if we look at the actual program, you can see we have some sets, reps, and loads for the competition lifts. And so when we're doing a hard percentage, that can be more for beginners and intermediates, because they're developing so fast that they're going to be able to keep up with the progression of these percentages. And if they're on or off a little bit each day, it's not going to affect whether they fail a rep or kind of not be able to complete the workout. Versus if you're more of an advanced person, you can have a lot more fluctuations in your estimated 1 rep max or how you're feeling that day, and you might not be able to complete a set percentage. And then for the accessory work, some of them will also have a range for these sets and reps, so you can choose whether you want to do more sets or you want to do more reps. You can also break it up into 2 exercises, so you can do 1 bicep exercise 3 sets and then another bicep exercise 2 sets. It just gives you a little bit more room to adjust based on what you have access to, what you like doing, and how you're feeling that day when it comes to just completing the accessory work. But the main lifts are all going to be those hard sets, reps, and percentages, just to keep the lifter in line. Even if these workouts are easy, it's going to ensure that they don't go too hard too early, and they can focus on proper technique, like I said, developing that skill acquisition. So this is gonna do a percentage. So for example, that's 70%, but once you put in your maxes in here, I'm just running off 100, but if you put in like 400 for the squat, then it'll adjust it to here. So 280 now is the load for that first session. And if you put in something where it's going to give you a fraction, let's see if 325 will do it. So we got 227.5. So instead of that 0.5 not being something you can load, here we'll just round up or down for you to the nearest 5 pounds. So this tells you bar load is 230 pounds. So you get that kind of adjustment in there. And if for some reason these loads just end up like you're not being capable of that day, you can always adjust it down. And then here in the completed load column, you could put, okay, you actually did 215 pounds, and you can kind of keep track of the notes for yourself. And you can also use here if you want, instead the comments are just for general comments. If you want to write in here, you can mark off your sets, or if anything hurts, or any kind of cues you need for that lift, so you can kind of come back and remember next time you can look at it. So if when you're on week 2, you can come back and look at your notes for week 1 and help guide you throughout the weeks. So as you go down, you'll see you got week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, and week 6. And that's basically it. All the exercises, like I said, stay the same. It's just a variation of the sets, reps, and the load. And then for the accessory work, some of them are open for you to adjust how you want. So you can do 2 weeks of one exercise for biceps, and then 2 weeks of another exercise, and then maybe the final 2 weeks come back to that original exercise and see if you can push the weights further. It doesn't really matter how you do it, as long as you stick to these sets and reps. Leave a few reps in the tank so you're not maxing out on the accessory work, and actually doing the work. That's what's going to get you that hypertrophy and eventually lead to those bigger strength gains on the competition lifts. So I hope this helps you out. Like I said, you can go to the website, click the link, make a copy, and then once you make the copy, you can go in and fill everything out with your own information, and then it'll adjust the maxes and everything for what you need. All right, and if you have any questions, like I said, on this first tab, you can contact us through email, Instagram, comment on the YouTube video, whatever questions you have. If there's any issues with the formulas or anything like that that's calculating stuff, you can let us know. All right, hope that helps you out.